What's up, guys? It is Team Dream Shooters back again with another video. So I wanted to get back into the groove of making videos, and I thought what better than to start with a deck profile. And my first video on this channel was a deck profile on Kagero, so I thought why not, bring full circle and start with Kagero. So this is going to be on my standard The End deck, and essentially, yeah, it's just get straight into it. So this deck is mainly a Force 2 deck, so I do run Force 1 markers in the deck, but ideally it's just it's mainly a Force 2. And to get straight into it, I'm just gonna go with the cards first and then talk about it after for some people who might just want to see the deck list. To start off, we run 4 Dragonic Overlord The End, and Dragonic Overlord The End skill is at the end of the battle, it attacked, activate one of these effects below, but you cannot activate the same effect in one turn. If your hand has 4 or less cards, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and stand this unit, and it loses 1 drive. And then the other effect is, if your soul has a card with Overlord in its name, discard 3 cards from your hand, soul blast, and stand this unit, and it gains 10,000 and a drive until end of turn. So essentially, you attack with it, and then you restand with one of its skills, and attack again, and then you restand with the other skill for a total of 3 Vanguard attacks in 1 turn. The reason why I use Force 2 is because it's very high pressure Vanguard deck, because you're always constantly swinging with your Vanguard with 3 critical, and then the chance of a trigger, obviously. And yeah, just run forward to maximize your chances of riding into him. But that's your second ride target. Your main ride target to hit is Dragonic Overlord, and I also run 4 of him. And here's Dragonic Overlord's skill. It is auto act, Vanguard Rearguard once per turn, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gains 10,000 power until end of turn. And its secondary effect is auto Vanguard once per turn. When this attack hits Counterblast 1, discard 2 cards from your hand, and this unit loses the drive until end of turn. So basically, on your first ride, Force 2, swing, pressure, they either take 2 damage or they guard it. Either way, you get something out of it, and it's just a constant pressure, and your opponent really has to think about whether they want to guard everything, because you're always going to be using Force 2, and no one wants to take 2 damage to the face, right? And next we're going to get into the grade 2s. I run 1 Dragon Armor Full Buster. His skill is continuous, Vanguard Rearguard. If your opponent has no rearguards, this unit gains 3,000 power, and this is on your turn and your opponent's turn, so if they don't call anything, it's a 13k. And his secondary skill is auto Vanguard Rearguard. When placed, Soul Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. Look at the top 7 cards of the deck, reveal up to 1 card with Overlord in its name and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. He's just in here for the 13k, and because it's SP. No other really reason. I don't really use him for his Soul Blast 2 skill to search out, because I usually hit my pieces, and Soul is something that I value heavy in the deck. But it's a ride target, because usually not a ride target. It's a good rearguard attack, because it can hit 13k, so that's a force number. And my other rearguards usually don't hit good numbers besides Berserk Dragon, which I'll get to soon. And then I run 2 Dragonic Burnout. Dragonic Burnout's my main retiring unit in the deck, because he's not on place, and if I keep him every turn, I can continuously use him. His skill is act once per turn. Counterblast 1 and put a grade 2 or greater card from your drop zone into the bottom of your deck, and then you choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So he's basically the only way you can retire, because you're on place. All the other retire is just on place, so it's a one-time use, and this guy is every turn, but usually you don't need to use him for more than 1 turn, but he's just there to maximize retire potential. And next I run 3 Wyvern Strike Decot. He is the main combo card that goes on with The End, and his skill is act, Counterblast 1, put this unit to the soul, choose one of my Dragonic Overlord The End, and when my opponent would call a card from his or her hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 Guardians at one time. So basically, every time your The End attacks, if they're at 5 damage, they have to place down 2 cards, meaning that you get a total of 6 cards out of their hand, and if there's a PG, that's a 7 or 8, and it just really whittles their hand down. And it's one of the only units in here that I can use to refill my soul besides riding. And like I said, Counter Blast isn't as important in this deck to me as Soul Blasting is. Because, because a lot of the units here are Soul Blast, like the Dragonic Overlord and some other units I'll get to later. And I run 3 because I want to maximize potential of drawing into him, but not 4 because then it's just dead. Next I run 3, Dragonic Overlord. Dragonic Overlord's skill is when placed, Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the back row and retire it, and this unit gains 5,000 power till end of turn. So basically he kills the back row on place and then he becomes a 15k attacker. You could bump him up to 4 if you want to get rid of a Decot, but I feel like I'd rather see a Decot over a Nahalem sometimes, just because it's a kill pressure deck. And it's, it's pretty stable because it's just there because you want to, retire stuff. And lastly, I run 4, Berserk Dragon, and he's the only grade 2 I run 4 of because he's the main rank target I want to hit because he helps me +1. And Berserk Dragon's skill is when placed, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it, and if this unit is on Vanguard circle, you get the draw card, which is what I like him for. And his second effect is when he attacks a Vanguard, if I have more rear guards than my opponent, this unit gains 3,000 power to end of turn, which makes him a 13k attacker, which does hit force numbers. And yeah, it's pretty stable. He's just there because he hits force numbers. And yeah, he gets you a plus if you ride on top of him. And it's a retiring unit, helps you kill your opponent's units. And yeah, that's it for the grade 2s. For the grade 1s, I run 2, Calamity Tower Wyvern. Now, Calamity Tower Wyvern is one of my techs in the deck because of his skill, which is Act, Soul Blast 1, and retire this unit, and one of your Vanguards gains 15,000 till end of turn. Now, the reason I run him is because usually if you have the end and you go Force 2, he only hits 13k on the first attack, and if I don't have a Decot, they can easily just drop one trigger, and that'll be enough to make it like 2 to pass. And with this guy, he basically, makes your opponent have to drop 2 if I don't hit a Decot. So he's just there to fix my Force 2 numbers since they won't be as powerful. And yeah, not a lot of people run because he is 7k and you do lose him, so it's a one-time use. But in my honest opinion, I think it's a really good card, and I want to use it because there are other cards I like, but I'd rather not run too many of. And one of those cards is Sable Dragnewt. Now, I know Sable Dragnewt's a good card because he helps you plus after you retire. But I did want to make room for Calamity Tower Wyvern, and I feel like it was better to lose Sable Dragnewt over Airmo because of the counter charge. Now, his first skill is Auto Vanguard. When an attack hits, draw a card. Usually, I'm going first. If I am able to go first in the deck, it's pretty useless. And if I do ride him, then there's nothing I'd rather ride just to have draw power, because this one's not guaranteed. And his other skill is Auto Rearguard. When your opponent's rearguard is retired, during your turn, you can retire this unit and draw a card. So he's just like Airmo. You kill him to draw, and that's really about it. He's not the 11k booster, so he's just not as cool, which is what Airmo does. And I run 4 Airmo. Airmo's skill is Continuous Rearguard. During the battle this unit boosted, this unit gains 3,000 power, which makes him an 11k booster. And then when your opponent's rearguard is retired during your turn, retire this unit, draw a card, and countercharge 1. That's the thing that Sable Dragnewt lacks, but you still get to draw if you ride him. So it's kind of like a trade-off, but I'd rather have Airmo because of the countercharge, as, he's the only way you countercharge in the deck, so it's pretty important. And for the last of the grade 1s, I run 4 Dragon Dancer Josie. Now, this is probably where you can see what the point of the deck is. I don't run draw PGs. So Josie's skill is when placed, PG, and his other skill is Vanguard. When placed, draw a card and discard a card from hand. So basically, you do still want PGs in the deck, and I do run 12 crit. And yeah, it's good because on ride, if you go first, it doesn't matter if it's 7k because you probably take the first Vanguard attack regardless. And that way you get the draw card, and you filter out and hopefully just leave crits in the deck, or ditch an empty card in your hand if you could draw one too many overlords. And then I have the starter, obviously, and then like I already pre-mentioned, 12 crit, and this is where the kill potential comes in the deck, and 4 heal. Now the kill potential is the 12 crit because you basically maximize your drive check chances to either be a crit or a heal, because you don't want that draw trigger, because of if you want to proc a second skill, which is discard 3 cards, and you draw a card during your drive checks, that may mess you up, which you don't want to do. And yeah, so every time you attack, you maximize your chances of hitting a trigger, which really puts the kill potential in the deck. And yeah, with the Force 2, you pull a crit, that's a 3 crit Vanguard attacking every time, and that's just high pressure. Now I know, now the reason why I do that is because in the current meta, which right now is post VBT07, a lot of the decks are a lot faster, like Pale Moon, Shadow Paladin, and such, so you need fast kill potential. And what better fast kill potential than Force 2 with, a double drive check of crits, where since you do 3 checks, a triple crit, that's a 5 crit Vanguard attacking. If that's not pressure, then I really don't know what is. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully I can get more content out to you guys. And thank you. Leaving any kind of feedback, for liking or commenting, whichever you like. Subscribe, whatever you can do helps. Feedback is the most appreciated because I know what I can work on to improve myself. So yeah, have a good day. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.